On November 24, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving, Portland International Airport was unusually busy. Among the many travelers was a quiet, middle-aged man wearing a dark business suit and a black tie. He carried only a briefcase. On his ticket, the name read, Dan Cooper. He boarded Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, a short trip from Portland to Seattle. To the crew and passengers, he seemed calm, even polite. He sat in the back of the Boeing 727, ordered a bourbon and soda, and lit a cigarette, blending in with the other 36 passengers on board. Nothing about him stood out, except for the note he soon handed to a flight attendant. At first, she tucked it into her pocket without reading, thinking it was just another man's phone number. But Cooper leaned toward her and said quietly, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." The message was chilling. He demanded $200,000 in $20 bills, along with 4 parachutes. He warned that if his requests were ignored, he would detonate the bomb inside his briefcase. To prove his point, he cracked it open just enough to reveal wires and red cylinders inside. The captain was informed, and within minutes the flight crew was relaying Cooper's demands to air traffic control. The airline executives, fearing for the lives of the passengers, decided to comply. By the time the plane circled over Seattle for hours, waiting for the ransom money to be gathered, the passengers began to sense something was wrong. Still, Cooper remained calm, chain-smoking and sipping his drink, almost as if he was in complete control. When the plane finally landed in Seattle, FBI agents and police officers surrounded the area, but Cooper's instructions were clear. No tricks, no sudden moves. A company employee delivered the money and the parachutes directly to the aircraft. True to his word, Cooper released all the passengers unharmed. Only the pilots and 2 flight attendants were forced to stay behind. With his demands met, Cooper instructed the pilots to take off again. He ordered them to fly toward Mexico City, keeping the plane low, no higher than 10,000 feet, and with the rear stairway unlocked. The crew found his requests unusual, but they followed his instructions. As the plane headed south, darkness fell. The weather was rough, with strong winds and heavy rain. Somewhere over the dense forests of Washington, Cooper made his move. He put on a parachute, strapped the bag of money to his body, and lowered the rear staircase of the Boeing 727. Then, in the middle of the storm, he stepped out into the freezing night and vanished. It was the last time anyone ever saw him. The FBI launched one of the most extensive manhunts in American history. Thousands of people were questioned, and the woods of the Pacific Northwest were scoured for weeks. But there was no sign of Cooper, alive or dead. The wilderness was unforgiving, and many investigators believed he could not have survived. Yet, without a body, no one could be certain. Years passed, and the case only grew stranger. In 1980, a young boy camping along the Columbia River discovered bundles of decayed $20 bills buried in the sand, bills that matched the serial numbers of Cooper's ransom money. The discovery suggested that at least part of the money had made its way downstream, but how it got there remains a mystery. Over the decades, countless theories emerged. Some claimed Cooper was an experienced paratrooper who managed to land safely and disappear into a new life. Others argued that his jump was nothing short of suicidal, and that his body still lies hidden somewhere in the remote wilderness. The FBI investigated hundreds of suspects, but no evidence was strong enough to solve the case. In 2016, after more than 40 years, the FBI officially closed the investigation. D.B. Cooper's true identity, his fate after the jump, and what really happened to the rest of the ransom money remain unsolved. To this day, Cooper is celebrated in American folklore as a mysterious outlaw who pulled off the impossible, hijacking a plane, collecting a fortune, and escaping into the night sky without leaving a trace. This remains the only unsolved airplane hijacking in U.S. history, a legend that continues to fascinate, puzzle, and haunt investigators and storytellers alike. D.B. Cooper became more than just a criminal. He became a symbol of one of the greatest mysteries of modern crime.